He brushes his teeth with 5W30. Matt West is on Automotive ADHD.
17 minutes after the top of the hour. Make sure when you get that 5W30 that you're getting the high mileage stuff that's got extra additives in it, a little extra fluoride, really helps with those teeth. Keeps those clearances, keeps those tolerances in spec. Oh, man, thanks for joining me here on the show. You have tuned into the correct car show. And there's a lot of stuff I'm really excited to talk about. And namely, there is a bill, and this is one of the first that we've seen of its kind, that is going to help save racetracks. This is incredible. And get this, it passed. It actually passed. So, okay, we will get to that and more, as well as some of your car sounds. That's all coming up here on the show. Now, one of the things that I told you I was bringing back, because I got more of them, Automotive ADHD keychains, as well as some of the As Heard on the Automotive ADHD show stickers. And these, look at this right there on my water bottle. It's a great, this one has lasted a long time, by the way. This is one of the original ones. So anyway, great stickers, As Heard on the Automotive ADHD show. And so what you need to do, you can do one of two things. You can do one of two things on here, which firstly is send me some car sounds. I love playing car sounds on this show. And more importantly, I love playing your car sounds on this show. I live vicariously through my listeners because, my cars don't always run. So I have to gain some enjoyment from hearing your cars run. The other thing you can do, well, I should mention, to do that, you send those car sounds into facebook.com/automotiveadhd. There's a pinned post at the top of the page. Put them in there. That way everyone can see them, and then they will have a chance to be featured here on the program. The other thing you can do, and this is a new thing, which is I want you, if you're watching on the video, okay, if you're watching on video, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and more, and even if you're listening on the radio, go over to the YouTube channel and comment on this video. Something of, I would say, what should you comment? Comment, I love Jim Miller, and I will reach out to you and I will just mail you a sticker and a keychain. So, and actually you can comment that, take some creative liberty in that, because I'm going to show these comments to Jim, and I want you to actually kind of creep him out a bit. So something to that effect relating to Jim Miller. Keep it reasonably polite, but I want to, I want this to creep out Jim a little bit. That's my goal. So he might be listening right now. Jim, you're going to have to wait and see what you get. So anyway, comment on that. I'll send you a keychain and a sticker, or you can send me car sounds, or you can do both. It's all up to you. So racetracks are racetrack owners, people who like racetracks, people who go to racetracks can rejoice at least a little bit, because this bill passed. And it passed on the state level, and it didn't pass in all 50 states. I know, we'll get to that, but it is really tremendously important. And this comes by way of Auto Week. Hat tip Mark Vaughn over there at Auto Week. The headline reads, North Carolina passes law to protect racetracks from NIMBYism. Hey, his words, not mine. And those NIMBYs are those people who are, what they're doing. Okay, let me set the stage. This is happening across the country. These racetracks have been around for decades. Some of these racetracks are historic. They've been around for many, many decades, generations even. And what's happening is people are buying homes and property next to them. They're maybe building homes next to these. Developers are buying property right next to these racetracks. And the racetrack, bear in mind, has been there for 25, 35, 45, 50 plus years. And then these homes suddenly crop up next to it. Then what these homeowners do is they complain about the noise from the racetrack. Yes, they have the audacity to complain about the noise from a racetrack that they knowingly purchased. It's not like the racetrack just showed up one day. They purchased property next to the racetrack knowing it was there. And many of these people even signed disclosures saying that you acknowledge there's a racetrack next to you. And on the weekends, it might get kind of noisy. It's a good kind of noise, by the way. I mean, it is. I mean, it's like supercharged V8s and high revving race engines and things. That's a good sort of noise, in my opinion. But I guess apparently everyone doesn't think so, because this has become a systematic problem where these people begin to sue the owners of the racetracks. Yes, they sue the racetracks. And in some cases, I'm looking at you, California, they are winning the lawsuits. How? How does that happen, by the way? How does that even happen where, yes, the racetrack's too noisy? And then the judge asked him, well, did you know there was a racetrack? Well, yeah, we did know there was a racetrack there. Okay, well, I'll give you the lawsuit anyway. Like, it's absurd. It's bonkers. It's ridiculous. But this kind of stuff is driving racetracks out of business. And it's even in the cases, hear me out, where racetracks are winning these lawsuits, they are still being dragged through that legal system with incredibly high legal fees. And then what? Someone else comes along and sues them again? This is just lawfare. It is straight up lawfare, because even the racetracks who are completely in the right, and they may even win the first time around, maybe the second time around, they can't afford. These are mom and pop racetracks. They don't have a ton of money. Go to any racetrack and you'll see the effect of, how expensive insurance has gotten and all the extra rules they have to put in just so they can stay insured and afford their insurance policy and all of this stuff. And then these people are they're having the money just extracted out of them in the form of legal fees. And eventually it drives these guys out of business. So even if they do win the lawsuits, it's not good, especially for the smaller owner-operator type of racetracks. And this bill comes by way, this is House Bill 926 from North Carolina. And I think this is an amazing bill. Now, it addresses a number of things, not just racetracks, but one key thing that it does do, according to Auto Week here, it, quote, the bill protects racetracks from nuisance claims, specifically in cases where the motorsports facility had legally established development and rights and received all necessary permits and approvals to begin construction and operations, i.e., that's legalese for saying the racetrack was there first, and it protects them. Now, what's amazing about this, too, is this came as a collaboration with SEMA, PRI, and also North Carolina Representative Alan Chesser, chair of the House Standing Committee on Regulatory Reform. And I know that if you're listening in Colorado, why are we talking about a bill in North Carolina? If you're listening on the podcast, or why are we talking about North Carolina? Because this needs to be the model for all of the other 50 states. Every state in the union needs to follow this model. And the bill here, according to a number of people, really does, it just has a lot of, they call common sense regulatory reforms. And again, it's not specifically a racetrack bill. It has a lot of stuff, but it does directly impact the racetracks here. And, you know, a lot of people, by the way, could argue that North Carolina was the birth of racing in America. It has a long heritage of racing tradition. You know, it hosts the Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and there's so much motorsports heritage going on there, and it's good to see this happening. Now, a representative for SEMA said, quote, racetracks deserve strong champions to advocate on their behalf. And they go on to say, too many across the country face direct challenges that threaten their survival. These facilities are more than just racetracks. They sustain jobs, generate local economic activity, and embody a vital piece of our motorsports heritage, not just in North Carolina, but nationwide. Wow. Drop the mic right there. Boom. Drop it there. They go on to say, though, I'll finish here. When a racetrack closes, communities lose real jobs, real livelihoods, and beloved traditions. House Bill 926 ensures racetracks can operate without the constant threat of closure or restricted use. And this is really important, and this goes to show why SEMA is such a great organization. By the way, SEMA does a lot. SEMA does a whole lot that you don't even realize in many cases. And this is why I support SEMA. They've never paid me a dime in sponsorship money, but I've talked about them at length on this show. And in fact, every single podcast and YouTube video from this show, if you go in the description field of that, you will see a link to the advocacy page for SEMA. And I know everyone thinks of SEMA as the car show. In fact, SEMA in the minds of many people is just a car show that happens in Las Vegas in November every year. In fact, it should be going on this week here, I believe. So, and I've attended the SEMA show. It's really cool. All sorts of amazing builds, but also what I thought was amazing about SEMA, yes, the internet and the car culture tend to talk about the builds, the cars, the cool show cars that show up there. What's even cooler are the vendors, the companies, the aftermarket parts companies showcasing their products, showcasing all the cool development they've done to support the automotive enthusiast. In a way, that's actually cooler than, some neat hot rod with a crazy paint job and a super bonkers engine swap of some kind, including a Bluetooth drive shaft, because those do happen with show cars there. And the SEMA show is great. It promotes a lot of awareness, but SEMA does stuff year round, and they do a lot in this advocacy space. And that is super important. We need more of that. Now, this bill, we need a lot of support to get something like this to pass in other states. And we need a lot of vocal support, which is why I take time on my show when I could be talking about K-Series engine swaps. We could be talking to OBD1 Kenobi about tuning stuff, whatever. We could be talking about all these other fun things that I know my listener enjoys. I know that. But it is important to stop and talk about what SEMA does and why you should support SEMA. SEMA is also great at giving you, the motoring enthusiast, tools to talk to your legislator, to talk to your member of Congress. They give you great templates. They give you all this stuff. They give you things where you can just jump in, put your address in, your name, and then it'll build the template for you that you can send to your representatives. And we need to see more of this. Now, racetracks closing is a big problem, and I've talked about it before on the program. And the SEMA rep there was totally right. Racetracks aren't just for us guys who want to get out there in their, I'll point at it, what is that, the ES2000 right there and rip it around a track? No, it's about family stuff. It's about activities. It's about engaging the community. It brings business. It does all of this stuff. So we need to support our local racetracks. And I'm going to let my reps know, hey, this bill, 926, we need one of those here in Colorado. We need one of those. We need to save our racetracks. So, hey, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about that and more